What's going on, folks? Welcome back. Today we are diving deep to the world of VirtualBox. VirtualBox is one of the type of virtual machines that we use for the purpose of penetration testing, ethical hacking, cloud computing, among other functionality. In the previous videos, I've talked about virtual machines. We have discussed what are virtual machines, different types of virtual machines. We have discussed what is hypervisors and different types of hypervisors. Now, when we talked about types of hypervisors, we came to understand that there are two types of hypervisors, the bare metal and also the hosted hypervisor. The bare metal, we say these are type of hypervisors that runs on the hardware, while hosted hypervisors, from the word hosted, it means there must be a physical machine that they run into. And this case, the example of a hosted hypervisor is VirtualBox. Today, our main focus is VirtualBox. What is VirtualBox? As you understand, the main reason for me to craft this course is for you to understand the power of VirtualBox and also to give the beginners a guideline on where to start and to have some knowledge, credible knowledge about this virtual machine. Having said so, folks, if you find this video insightful or educative and this is what you'll be looking for, subscribe to this channel, turn notification bell on so that whenever I upload a new content, you will be notified. Having said so, like, share, comment below this video. Let me know what you think. What is your question? If you have ever interacted with your VirtualBox, what is your regret and what do you praise about VirtualBox? Let me hear in the comment section and I will respond. Or what problem are you experiencing so that I will come back with a solution. I'm happy to see you in the comment section. Now let's dive deep to the world of VirtualBox. Now, one thing you need to know is to ask yourself of what is VirtualBox. A VirtualBox, we are saying, is a free and open source virtualization software. When we talked about free, it means it is freely available in the internet. You don't need to pay for VirtualBox. You only need to navigate to your browser and download VirtualBox. Open source, it means that the source code is available and it can be modified, it can be redistributed to fit whatever the need for this virtual machine. Having said so, we say that this software is developed by Oracle and it is a hosted type of hypervisor, as we have said before. Another thing you need to know is that VirtualBox allow you to run multiple operating systems on that very single machine. It means you can run Windows 11 server, Windows 10 server, you can run a Linux, Kali Linux, you can run Ubuntu, you can run Parrot OS, you can run Backtrack, and so on and so forth. And remember, they will be safe and secure within this virtual machine. Now, what is your question? Now you know that VirtualBox can be modified and redistributed. Let's proceed. What are some of the key features of VirtualBox? VirtualBox has various features that makes it important for security professionals, for IT gurus, or even in cloud computing. And one of these features is called the cross-platform support. The cross-platform support means that it can run on Windows, it can run on Mac OS, it can run on Linux, and also in Solaris. It means there are no restriction on which operating system VirtualBox can run. You can install, in my case, I have installed Windows operating system as my primary operating system. Now I have installed VirtualBox over Windows and it is running out perfectly. Another key features of VirtualBox is guest editions. The guest editions here ensure the performance and usability. The user experience is good. It enhances guest operating system performance and usability. Number 3 is snapshot. This snapshot, a feature in VirtualBox, makes you to save the state of the virtual machine, so always you can navigate back to where you left and continue. And finally is the seamless mode. The seamless modes mean it can help to integrate guest and both guest and host or environments. Now you know what do you think, how far do you think VirtualBox can take you as far as virtualization is concerned? Let me know below this video and let's proceed. What is next? Why should you use VirtualBox? VirtualBox is used for various functionality. Number 1 is used for testing softwares. Alright. Number 2, we say that through VirtualBox, there is safe browsing by isolating environments. Remember, when you install different virtualized operating system in VirtualBox, there are always isolated environments. And now, when you have launched a process in, for example, Parrot OS, which is a virtualized operating system in VirtualBox, and also be conducting browsing in a different environment such as or different virtualized operating system such as Kali Linux, anything that you perform in Kali Linux will not affect anything that you perform in Parrot OS. All right. Number 3 is useful for learning and experimenting with different operating systems. Like in our case, we are using this for learning, and of course, we are going to experiment with Kali Linux or with Windows 10 Server. We are going to experiment with Ubuntu or with Parrot OS, and this is going to help you on how you can learn these different operating systems. Remember, it is only through virtualization where you can run this multiple operating system and experiment with them freely without any interference. And lastly, reasons why we use VirtualBox is cost effectiveness. VirtualBox is freely available and you don't need to pay for any version of it. You only need to download it, unlike VMware Workstation Pro, where you will need a license key, and that will mean you'll have to purchase the license key for commercial use. For commercial use, but for the VirtualBox, it can be used for both personal and commercial use, for there is no license that is required for this particular case. Let's proceed, folks. Now, what are some of the system requirements for this machine called VirtualBox? For VirtualBox to function effectively, then you must have processor x86 or AMD 64 with virtualization support. You need a memory, random access memory. At least you need to have 2 GB. But if you need good performance, you need at least 4 GB as you move across to 8 GB. And now third system requirement is the storage. You must ensure that you have enough space, HDD or SSD within your computer, so that it will allocate the required resource for this machine. Remember, when we talked about hypervisor, we said it is called the virtual machine monitor, or I call it the hardware manager. The hardware manager in this case will perform the task of allocating the required resources. That is what the memory, the storage, the processor of course is x86. The required resources for this machine to run effectively. All right, so it is only the hypervisor that will work effectively to allocate. Remember that the RAM it is allocating is virtualized RAM, virtualized hard disk, virtualized CPU. All right, and all these resources are from your host machine in this particular case. Finally, we say operating system. It must at least you have to have either Mac OS, Linux, Solaris, or Windows installed in your host computer so that you can be able to install this machine on top of it. Having said so, guys, if you find this video insightful and this is what you've been looking for, kindly hit that subscribe button, turn notification bell on so that whenever I upload a new content you get notified. Having said so, like, share and comment below this video. Let me know what is your question, what have you learned, and now what do you want me to cover next, and I will be back with it immediately. Let's make Mac Cyber a learning and interactive community. So let's proceed. In the next tutorial, we are learning on how to install VirtualBox. Of course, installing VirtualBox is as easy as counting 1, 2, 3. You only need to go to your browser and type virtualbox.org, and it will direct you to where you're going to download, and therefore we will be able to install. Now, I will skip this for now because after we have done with this, I'm going to show you on how you can download and now install this VirtualBox. Having said so, let's proceed. Now, another thing that we need to understand is how we can create a virtual machine or a VM. Number one is that you are going to open your VirtualBox. Of course, now this one again, let me skip for this. We are going, after we have downloaded and installed VirtualBox, now we are going to see on how we can configure everything for VirtualBox to make it run effectively. So we will go to a new, where we sing at tips for optimizing VirtualBox performance. What do you need to do to ensure VirtualBox operate or functions accordingly? Number one is allocating sufficient random access memory and CPU cores to the virtual machine. In a case where you have allocated, what below the minimum requirements, possibility that you will experience problems is so high. So in this case, what you need to do is to allocate the minimum required resources for its effective functionality. Another feature is the use dynamic storage to save disk space. That one is self-explanatory. Number 3 is enable hardware virtualization in BIOS. In some cases, when you're going to install VirtualBox, when the VTX is not enabled in your BIOS or in your UEFI, then you will not be able to install VirtualBox. So you will need to navigate to your computer, and for the purpose of effective installation, you will have to enable VTX or virtualization technology in your computer. And lastly is to install guest editions. Whenever guest editions are not installed, possibility that you're going to experience problems during installation or when running the virtualized operating systems is so high. So it is recommended that for you to have a better user experience and integration, you need to install these guest editions. Having said so, let's proceed. Now, another space that we need to know as besides the importance, the features, what are some of the common issues and what is their solutions. The most common issues that we experience with VirtualBox is the slow performance. When you experience low performance with VirtualBox, you will need to increase the allocated resources or enable virtualization. Increase the allocated resources, that is, you can increase the RAM, you can increase the CPU cost, you can increase the storage, and now recheck on its performance. Another thing, when VM won't start, you need to go and check your BIOS or your file settings and ensure that the virtualization support is on. Again, lastly, when you experience network issues, you will need to configure network adapters correctly. There is NAT, there is bridge, there is host, network. So all those you need to recheck one by one and ensure everything works perfectly. Another important topic about VirtualBox is the use cases for VirtualBox. Who are people using this virtual machine? Number one are the developers. The developers use VirtualBox because of its different environments to test applications. Then we use them by students for the purpose of learning different operating systems and of course understanding networking as well. And it's also used by IT professionals. IT professionals use it to manage multiple operating system setups. And finally, is everyday users for running legacy softwares. Now, folks, before we get to the conclusion, let me know what you've learned. What do you find new? What do you find important with VirtualBox? Out of all, ensure you subscribe to this channel, turn notification bell on, like, share, and comment. Let me know what you think below this video. And finally, let's come to the conclusion. The conclusion is all about a recap of what you have learned, and we are saying that VirtualBox is a powerful tool for virtualization. Of course it is, and it is also suitable for professionals, students, and hobbyists like. Finally, it is free, versatile, and user friendly. So guys, anything you need to know is that as much as cybersecurity, IT, cloud computing, penetration testing, and ethical hacking is concerned, VirtualBox is another important tool that one should prioritize to use. Remember, it's freely available, so you can download this and install these virtual machines and try to see if it is user friendly or it is giving you a touch of experience or meeting your expectation. Having said so, guys, thank you so much for turning to Max Cyber. Happy to see you around and happy to see you making Max Cyber a community of learning. Bye bye for now, and the next video we are going to install VirtualBox in your computer. See you in the next video.